Hey guys, Paul Schreiber, JoBlo.com here, back here with Sean Wist, and we are going to talk about the WB Presentation DCEU aspect, because I know you guys are chomping at the bit to hear more about what they showed, and they did show quite a bit more than I anticipated.
Yeah, a lot of new things, actually.
So to kick it off, the start of the DCEU presentation, they had Jason Momoa come out.
Looking like he always does, like a fucking surfer rock star.
Surfer rock star. Looking
like
like
him,
Jason
man.
Momoa.
He's, you know.
He came out and he was like, he said basically, of course, you know, kind of pimping Justice League. He said, he's like, Justice League is the greatest movie I've ever seen. He's like, you guys don't know, but I've seen it. And so there's a little vote of confidence for those of you that have doubts. But of course, Jason Momoa is going to say
You're not going to tell him no. It's Jason Momoa.
So anyways, he said that he's actually getting ready to go on a plane to fly to Australia to start shooting Aquaman, like, directly.
Yeah.
So that, like, Aquaman is literally like days away from starting shooting. And I figured he'd just exit the stage and that would be it, but then he unveiled an entire behind-the-scenes concept art fucking barrage from Aquaman with James Wan talking over it and kind of narrating.
And it was really cute because he says Aquaman. Aquaman.
So James Wan is talking us through the entire thing, and the concept art is really, really amazing. It was really well done. Even if you're not a big fan of concept art, they did a great job of selling it. And he also described the scene. He didn't say where the scene took place, but he's like, he basically set it up like you're seeing a space battle, and you're seeing ships in the distance. And as you get closer, you realize they're not ships, they're creatures. Like, there's men riding sharks and like octopus creatures, and you realize that this battle is underwater. And just like the way he told that and the concept art along with it, it was epic. It's like a Star Wars space battle underwater, and instead of ships, it's men on armored sharks and other various creatures basically doing battle.
They're pulling no punches with Aquaman, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and then they went into talking about building the world, and really creating something you haven't seen before, and how they interact underwater, because it's almost like space, the way they move through water. He described it as like Aquaman and the Atlanteans kind of move almost like Superman, because they just move through water.
Yeah, they glide. It's basically like flying underwater.
It's going to be fascinating. What a headache to film for him. I wouldn't want to figure that out.
It's going to be daunting, man. It's going to be fucking
good on
daunting.
him.
Yeah, lots of concept art of Atlantis, and it just looks like a giant cityscape, like really like lit, like, I mean, it's very bright and vibrant, and there's lots of, just people and creatures moving around. So it's not just like some big, castle with no like life around it.
No,
I was really impressed with. I thought it looked really great.
Yeah, it was really dense. It looked amazing. And there was like, I saw some concept art with Willem Dafoe, and he had like long flowing hair.
I did catch the Willem Dafoe
I did catch it, because I'm like, I recognize that fucking face. That's Willem Dafoe.
That's Willem motherfucking Dafoe, not Willem Defriend. Anyways, they also showed a quick look at Black Mantis. Or Black Manta.
Yeah, I know nothing of the Aquaman villains.
Black Manta, one of the main villains that's in the film, and it's the costume looks, again, ripped straight from the comic. The same big helmet with the big, glowing red eyes, and basically a little more, I guess, armored up kind of suit, but still the black standard suit. And again, it's concept art, but I mean that's where they're going. It looks great. They also showed Ocean Master, who's being played by Patrick Wilson, and again, right from the comics. I mean, he looks just like, he's got the armor, he's got his own trident and all that other stuff. So there you have it. I mean, if you have any doubts about how they're going to be translating that, at least via the concept art, looks like
faithfully.
It's going to be faithfully.
From what I hear, you can tell which one of us has read the comics.
Yeah, but I mean, they showed plenty of like little action,
yeah, for someone who's completely unfamiliar with Aquaman, like again, it looked amazing. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm actually, I mean, I was, kind of, I'll be honest, I wasn't like chomping at the bit for Aquaman, and kind of unsure about like what they were going to do, but after seeing this, just the concept art alone, I'm very intrigued. And it just looks like a huge, sprawling world, and it definitely really does look like something we haven't seen before. So,
you know what else I was excited about?
What's that?
What they showed for Wonder Woman.
Ooh.
So recently, well, you let them know about the edit bay.
You can read the edit bay report that I have. We went to London about a month ago, and we saw 2 scenes. We talked to director Patty Jenkins at length and got a really good feel for Wonder Woman. So actually, Patty and Chris Pine came out to talk about the film.
Chris Pine had a shaved head, by the way.
Shaved head. I don't know what he's shooting, but he has no hair.
Maybe that's just his lifestyle choice.
Maybe that's his thing. That's true. Could be right. But anyways, they went ahead and played a couple scenes. The first scene they played was basically the same scene that they showed us in the edit bay, which is Steve and Diana on the ship leaving Themyscira for London as they're getting ready to go into the battle and search for Ares. And it's basically just a really fun, playful kind of conversation. It's awkward, it's humorous, and it's got an interesting dynamic. And again, you could read more in depth about it from my report, but
it's your classic fish out of water story,
right?
Because
exactly.
she's powerful and strong, can do all these things, but she doesn't know how civilization works outside of where she was, raised.
Yeah. So they talk about Steve trying to explain to her what marriage is, and she's like, "Why don't you come sleep with me?
Yeah,
here on the boat."
It's like, let's go sleep with me.
So it's
like,
just really fun, playful dialogue, and I think for me, the same feeling that I had when I saw it about a month ago was that I feel like they really got the relationship between Steve and Diana right. I think they hired the right actors that have good chemistry and that can pull this off.
Yeah, if you're worried it might be like a forced romance, it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like a genuine bond is going to be formed there, especially given that they're on this mission to stop the war.
And it's so essential because, you're going to be spending a lot of time with those characters, and if that wasn't working, shit, that would honestly sink the film. So
yeah. So the next scene, they arrive in London. That was like a little bit, but the big next scene was you see a little bit of an alleyway fight in the trailers. We got to see more of that today, which looked really fun.
It was basically her blocking bullets with her gauntlets, and then a little extra bit where she pulls out the lasso of truth and
whips some guy,
and brings him out. It's a fun, it definitely felt, and I know this is what Patty Jenkins said when we were there, is that she wanted to build something that had kind of an Indiana Jones, like an adventure vibe to it. Like kind of old school classic.
Yeah,
and
action serial.
I got
vibe.
that vibe from that sequence. I really felt that. I was like, this is.
I felt that a lot actually in the next sequence. There was I'm not sure, of course, at one point in the movie it takes place, but Wonder Woman has her shield out. She's in full gear. She's doing her thing, and she leaps into a building, and in this room are just tons of bad guys. And she just goes to town on it. And you've seen some of the action, like slow-mo. She's all on the floor and flipping around and shit like that. And like the fun part about it for me was like half the time she has kind of like a smirk or a smile. Like she's enjoying this. Like she's been trained her entire life to kick the shit out of people. And now she gets to do it to people who deserve it. So, and she's kind of doing it with ease and stuff. And it was actually a lot of fun to watch.
And it's actually a good thing that you said that, because the scene that we saw prior was the scene that led to this, which is her crossing the battlefield of no man's land. It's the first time that she's actually revealing herself in costume and fighting in costume. And as she's crossing that battlefield, she starts blocking the bullets and everything, and that's where she starts to smirk. And it's basically her first taste of battle. And she's like, wow, it's so like.
So now she's like, oh, she's.
Yeah, and she's a natural at it because she has been trained to be the absolute best and strongest Amazon warrior. Mm-hmm. And this is on full display here. And the other thing that I wanted to note during those fight sequences is she's got like just really great acrobatic, like badassery going on there. And it does have that Zack Snyder speed ramp stuff. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry, but if you do, it's really cool, and I think it's done tastefully. It's not overused. It's done in a way that really allows you to capture the action without being like, I can't see what's going on.
Yeah,
I hate.
Yeah, you see it perfectly. And again, like it's hard not to love it too, because to be frank, she looks amazing in the outfit. She looks great. So any time they still and like flowing hair and like arm up or sword or shield or it's like taking an action figure and like posing it around, and it always looks awesome.
Yeah,
so I had no complaints.
Points of articulation, kicking ass.
Gal has all the points of articulation.
So yeah, that was it. That was all they showed, but that was quite a bit, and everybody seemed to really dig it. I'm still very excited for the film. I think it looks good, and I'll be seeing it without question.
Absolutely.
So will you. So the last thing they showed was Justice League. Now, everybody has already watched the trailer probably about 100 times, or maybe just once if it didn't do anything for you.
Or maybe a trailer breakdown, by somebody who, I don't know, just we did a trailer breakdown at JoBlo, so you can check it out. I stayed up late to do it, so please watch it.
So this is, again, another extended look. So we got a bit more in the opening scene with Bruce on horseback, and he says, you know, I spent so much time trying to pull us apart, and now I feel like they're gonna, you know, bring everybody together. So, you know, that's kind of like the opening line. And then they also show a scene where he's working on his new ship. I forget the name of it.
Some sort of carrier.
Yeah, the new carrier. There's a name for it. It's escaping my mind right now. But he's actually working on it, like tinkering with it. And then you see Diana walk in, and he doesn't even look at her, but he's like working. He's like, you know, I paid like, you know, millions of dollars for this security system. And she says, well, it worked. It only took me a minute. It took me about a minute to dismantle it. So.
There you
and
go.
then
She's a badass.
Basically he says, you know, we got to get ready because they're coming, and she says, no, they're already here. And then we launch into some more of the action from the trailer. We also saw some new shots, like the shot of Aquaman underwater is kind of standing there looking all
quick one there.
Badass, and that was really cool.
There's a tunnel sequence where Batman's in the Nightcrawler, doing his thing, which looks like it's going to be really cool. And we see Wonder Woman kind of reaching for her sword, and the Flash just runs around, and of course slow motion, and he just like, you know, touches her sword to point it and like knocks it right into her hand. It's like, it's a cool little thing like that. There's another great scene. If you're digging what Ezra is doing with the Flash, as far as, you know, self-awareness, like the situation and how cool it is, there's a great scene where the bat signal goes off, and he's like, oh, but it's the bat signal. And he's like, oh, I said it too loud.
And Bruce is just standing there, and he's just kind of like,
yeah. He's like, that means you have to go, right? And like,
and
yeah,
like, yes,
I have to go. And he's like, that's so cool.
And the whole thing is like when he says, oh, that's a bat signal, but Diana's standing there too, and he's like, oh, and he's like
he's not sure if he knows.
He doesn't know if she knows that he is Batman. So, and then
it was really endearing. Like,
it's pretty funny.
I'm digging all the characters. The Flash looks great. Of course, Aquaman looks like such a total badass, and everyone loves Wonder Woman already, and Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman. So
yeah, I mean, thus far the only one I think, you know, we haven't really gotten too involved in is Cyborg.
Cyborg's going to be the tough sell at this point.
Well,
you know,
and we just haven't seen enough of him to really get a feel. We did not see anything villain-wise outside of the parademons. Those are still the main thing. There was a scene where I don't know if it was in the original trailer, but when Batman gets into the Nightcrawler, he says, "My turn."
Yeah.
And then he starts. I don't know if that was in the original trailer, but he says that, and then he starts lighting them up. And yeah, that was it. They closed it out with that stinger that we just talked about, with Ezra Miller, you know, kind of flipping out.
And then the cast of Justice League came out on stage.
Was out, including Henry Cavill.
Including Henry Cavill. So if you had any doubts, he's going to be there.
I got a little excited, and I kind of wanted to see some Superman stuff, even though I don't want to see some Superman stuff. So it was
it's like one of those things, you know he's going to be there. He's going to show up, but
I'm glad. I truly am glad I don't know shit. I don't have any idea how. I mean, I don't know.
He doesn't know shit, guys.
I have an idea, but I don't know, and I love that. So, anyways, that was the end of the DC panel, or the DC panel part of the WB presentation. All in all, I was really surprised as the amount that they showed, especially the Aquaman stuff.
Yeah, for the DC material.
I mean, the extra Justice League stuff was cool, but I have to say that the Aquaman stuff really was the thing that got me super fucking pumped.
Yeah, frankly, I'm just kind of surprised that all of it looks really good. And this is, you're looking at two people who have differing opinions on the DCEU so far. He's pretty much liked or loved everything that's come out, and I haven't liked any of it, really. Like, I like the concept and ideas, but for everything coming forward, I'm going to be first in line at the theater to see it.
I'm just really happy to see. Personally, I love the DCEU. I love the direction it's going, and I love seeing that it's continuing to grow. I don't need the last thing DC needs is another reboot or New 52 or Rebirth. Like, I just want to see this continue to grow and expand. And yes, you know, fix errors where you felt they were errors, and just move forward. But I really like the characters. I like the universe. I love that it's expanding. I love that, like, there's a history. There's a rich history to it. That's already there and there for us to explore. So.
And there are passionate people behind it. It's not,
absolutely.
It's not just trying to get the cash. Like him or not, like, Snyder is very passionate about this world and the characters, you know, that he's helped to build.
And when he came out, you know, he said, he's like, you know, this is the culmination of 7 years of my life, you know, working on this universe. And
he's going to continue, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge investment, and you know, I know some people may disagree whether or not it paid off, but I think it's great. I think it's, you know, it's wonderfully ambitious. I don't think that everything has hit, but I think that this is.
I have a feeling
he's done great work.
We'll hear a few different things once Wonder Woman and Justice League come out.
Yes, I think you're right.
So.
I think you're right. So that's it for the DC panel. Thanks for joining us. We got a couple more panels here at CinemaCon, so stay tuned for those, and we'll get them out to you as fast as possible. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.
you're still here. It's over. Go home. You expecting Sam Jackson show up with an eye patch and a saucy little leather number? Go.